Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, welcome, please subscribe right now because today's video is one of those stories that genuinely makes you stop and think about how far cultural influence can travel before it stops, and the answer, apparently, is that it does not stop at the edge of the physical world. It keeps going into the digital one. Today we are talking about what happens when a hairstyle becomes so iconic, so globally recognized, so culturally embedded in the consciousness of a generation of young people, that it makes the jump from the real world into the metaverse completely organically, without any official announcement, without any collaboration deal, without any involvement from a management company or a record label. We are talking about Jimin's braids on Roblox. And if that sentence sounds like something you would not have predicted hearing even a year ago, that is exactly the point. Let's get into it. Let's start with Roblox itself, because context matters here and the significance of this particular development depends on understanding what Roblox actually is in 2026. Roblox is not a single game. It is a platform, an enormous, globe-spanning online environment where users play games, create games, socialize, attend virtual events, and customize their digital avatars with items purchased or earned within the platform's own economy. The scale of Roblox in 2026 is something that is easy to underestimate if you are not embedded in the gaming or youth culture world. The platform has more than 100 million active monthly users. Let's just sit with that number for a moment. 100 million. Every month. Active users who are logging in, playing, creating, spending real or converted money on virtual items, customizing their digital identities in a persistent online world. The demographics of that 100 million user base are also important for understanding why the Jimin Roblox moment matters specifically in the context of cultural influence. Roblox's user base skews young, significantly young. The platform has historically been most dominant among players under the age of 18, and while it has expanded its reach into older demographics over time, it remains one of the primary digital social spaces for Generation Z and Generation Alpha globally. These are young people who are growing up with digital identity as a central feature of their social lives, who think about their online avatar with some of the same intentionality and personal investment that previous generations thought about physical fashion and self-presentation. For them, what your Roblox avatar looks like is a meaningful form of self-expression, and the items they choose to put on that avatar reflect something genuine about who they are and what they value. This is the environment into which someone created and listed an item called K-pop idol JiminStyle Braids blonde hair in the Roblox marketplace. The item is a hair accessory for Roblox avatars, a digital reproduction of the specific braided blonde hairstyle that Jimin wore during the BTS Erarang World Tour that has become one of the most globally recognized and most widely discussed hairstyles in popular culture in 2026. It was created by a community creator operating under the handle Mio Atelier and is available in the Roblox marketplace at a price of 69 Robux, the in-platform currency, with multiple color options available. The item's description is minimal, as most Roblox marketplace items are, but the name tells the entire story: K-pop idol JiminStyle braids blonde hair. There is no ambiguity about whose hair this is supposed to be. There is no need for ambiguity. The style is recognizable enough that a name is almost redundant, but the name is there anyway, because the person who created it understood that the recognizability of Jimin's braids is itself a marketing asset. Let's talk about the hair itself, because to understand why this item exists in the Roblox marketplace, you need to understand the cultural journey that the braids took before they arrived there. Jimin's long blonde hair has been the defining visual narrative of the entire Erarang World Tour era since he debuted the look at BTS's comeback live performance at Gwanghwamun Square in Seoul in March 2026. The decision to grow his hair long was, as he shared on a live broadcast, a personal one that faced resistance from essentially everyone around him, including his management at Big Hit Music. His mother was reportedly his only initial supporter. He grew it anyway, and the result has been one of the most consistently documented and most widely discussed hairstyles in global popular culture in 2026. The braids specifically emerged as a distinct visual moment during the Las Vegas leg of the North American tour run, when Jimin appeared on stage at Allegiant Stadium with his long blonde hair partially braided into an intricate style that immediately sent social media into a specific kind of collective appreciation that only certain rare style moments can generate. Jimin braids trended at #1 in the United States on X. Fancam videos of the look passed 1 million views in the first few hours after the concert. A news anchor at Telemundo, the United States' largest Spanish-language television broadcaster, adopted the hairstyle on air with Jimin's song playing in the background. The moment reached audiences that had never engaged with K-pop content before, because the image had a quality of visual distinctiveness that translated across any cultural context. You did not need to know who Jimin was to understand that the hairstyle was striking. You did not need to be a BTS fan to register that something unusual and compelling was happening visually. GQ, one of the oldest and most respected men's fashion and lifestyle magazines in the world, subsequently included Jimin in their feature titled The Best Men's Hairstyles for Long Hair in 2026, according to experts. He was the only K-pop idol on that list, the only Asian person featured, placed alongside Hollywood actors and entertainment figures as a straightforward co-equal reference point for what excellent male long hair looks like. Professional hairstylists cited in that feature described his specific style approach as soft punk, a combination of softness and boldness that adds a modern, flexible quality to the overall look. Kirk Riley, a world-renowned hair expert, provided that specific terminology. And Terarose Bonsarilli, another professional stylist who analyzed the hair in the context of the Ararang tour performances, explained that the soft layers and natural movement function as an element that reinterprets historical appearances in a contemporary way, ensuring that costumes do not look like costumes. So by the time the Roblox item appeared, Jimin's braided blonde hair had already been #1 trending in the United States, featured on Telemundo, selected by GQ experts as one of the best examples of men's long hair in the world, described by professional stylists in terms usually reserved for genuinely influential fashion moments, and documented at every stop of a world tour spanning 34 cities across 23 countries. The hair had already become a cultural shorthand, something that could be conveyed through a single image and instantly recognized across demographics, languages, and cultural contexts. The Roblox item is the natural outcome of that level of cultural saturation. When something becomes recognizable enough that millions of young people who build their digital identities in online environments want to express their connection to it through their avatars, it appears in the Roblox marketplace. That is simply how the Roblox economy works. What makes the Roblox item specifically significant, as opposed to simply being a fan-made piece of digital merchandise, is the nature of the platform and what it represents as a site of identity expression for a very specific demographic. A piece of fan art posted on DeviantArt, or a fan-made edit shared on TikTok, or a dedicated tribute account on Instagram, these are all forms of fan expression that translate admiration into content. But a Roblox avatar item is something different. It is an item that someone puts on their avatar, on their persistent digital identity, the character that represents them in a virtual space where they spend real social time with real people. Choosing to put Jimin's braids on your Roblox avatar is not primarily a statement about Jimin. It is a statement about yourself. It is using the visual language associated with Jimin to communicate something about your own identity and your own values to the other people in your digital social world. This is exactly what the article circulating about this moment in fan communities noted when it described what happens when fans take their favorite idol's signature look and translate it into virtual fashion. It creates a seamless bridge between high-end K-pop styling and digital self-expression. The bridge is not metaphorical. It is literal. The aesthetic that Jimin developed, fought for against institutional resistance, wore across months of a world tour at the highest possible level of public visibility, that aesthetic has now become a language that young people use to express themselves in the environments where they actually live their social lives. And those environments are, increasingly, digital ones. The broader phenomenon that the Roblox item represents is one that is worth understanding in some depth, because it reflects a genuinely significant shift in how cultural influence operates in 2026. For most of the history of popular culture, the influence of an artist's visual identity on the broader culture manifested primarily in physical fashion, people adopting looks, buying similar clothes, styling their hair in ways inspired by the artists they admired. This still happens, and it happened with Jimin's braids in the physical world in ways that were clearly documented, the Telemundo anchor, the countless TikTok videos of fans recreating the braids, the surge in interest in similar braided styles that was documented on beauty platforms after the Las Vegas concert. But the Roblox item represents a different and newer dimension of the same phenomenon, the translation of aesthetic influence into digital identity expression, in a space where more and more young people's most meaningful social interactions are taking place. Roblox is not the only platform where this kind of digital identity expression happens. Fortnite has a long history of collaborating with real-world cultural figures for in-game character skins, and other gaming platforms have their own versions of cosmetic items that allow players to express cultural affiliations through their avatars. But the Roblox marketplace has a specific character that makes the organic emergence of a Jimin-inspired item particularly meaningful. Unlike the official Fortnite collaborations, which are the result of deliberate commercial deals between Epic Games and the celebrities or brands whose likenesses appear in the game, the Roblox marketplace allows community creators to produce and sell items without official partnership agreements. The person who created the K-pop idol JiminStyle Braids blonde hair item did not need permission from HYBE or from Jimin's management. They simply recognized that there was a demand for this specific aesthetic within the Roblox user community and created the item to meet that demand. And this organicism is, as the article circulating in fan communities correctly observed, almost the point. It shows that Jimin's influence has become a cultural shorthand, a visual language that users globally instantly recognize. When something reaches the level of cultural recognition where community creators in a platform ecosystem independently decide to create products that reference it, because they know from their understanding of their own community that there will be demand for those products, that is a specific kind of recognition that is entirely different from official endorsements or formal collaborations. It is the recognition that comes from having genuinely penetrated the cultural consciousness of a generation. The commentary piece that accompanied the fan-shared posts about the Roblox item made a specific observation that I think deserves to be highlighted. It noted that whether it is a flex for a digital avatar or just a fun way to stan, it is a brilliant example of how modern fandom is evolving. We are not just watching our idols anymore. We are virtually stepping into their shoes. That description captures something genuinely new about the relationship between artists and their audiences in the metaverse era. The traditional model of fandom involved observation and admiration. You watched the artist, you bought their music, you attended their concerts, you wore merchandise that signaled your affiliation. All of that was, fundamentally, passive in relation to the artist's own creative output. You consumed what they created. The Roblox item represents something different, active incorporation of the artist's aesthetic into your own identity construction. Not watching Jimin's braids. Not admiring them from a distance. Wearing them. Putting them on your avatar, the entity that represents you in virtual social space, and going out into that world presenting yourself through that visual language. This is a form of cultural transmission that did not exist before the metaverse era, and it points toward a future of cultural influence that is still being understood and theorized in real time. When an artist's visual identity becomes available as a literal costume for digital avatars in spaces where millions of people spend meaningful portions of their social lives, the boundary between following an artist and being shaped by an artist begins to dissolve in interesting ways. The young person who puts Jimin's braids on their Roblox avatar is not just saying they like Jimin. They are using Jimin's aesthetic vocabulary to construct and present their own identity. They are, in a very real sense, not just fans of the thing but participants in it. Now let's think about what this moment means in the context of Jimin's 2026 era specifically, because the Roblox item does not exist in isolation. It is part of a pattern of cultural reach that is characterized this year in a way that is genuinely unprecedented for any K-pop artist. We have covered on this channel The Guardian giving the London concert 5 stars and the reviewer naming Jimin as her favorite member. We have covered Billboard selecting Jimin's hair as one of the best moments of the London show and describing his stage performance as having Samson-like power. We have covered GQ's inclusion of Jimin as the only K-pop idol and the only Asian person in their feature on the Best Men's Hairstyles for Long Hair in 2026. We have covered a Jungang Education news column by a former Korean school principal arguing for Jimin as a living textbook of character education. We have covered the Argentine City Council unanimously voting to declare BTS honorary foreign guests, and the Mexican president hosting BTS at the National Palace. We have covered the Telemundo anchor adopting his braids on national television. We have covered the Charles Jeffrey Loverboy had sold out before ARMY could even finish posting about it. The Roblox item is the newest addition to that list, and what it adds to the picture is the digital dimension, the evidence that Jimin's cultural influence is not confined to physical spaces and traditional media. It has penetrated the virtual environments where the generation that is currently between the ages of 10 and 25 builds its identity and conducts a significant portion of its social life. Fashion media has recognized him. Music criticism has recognized him. Education columnists have recognized him. Government bodies have recognized him. And now, in the most organic and community-generated possible way, the Roblox marketplace has recognized him. The recognition spans every dimension of contemporary cultural life. Let's also think about what the Roblox item means for the specific story of the braids themselves, because there is something almost poetic about the journey this particular hairstyle has taken. It began as a personal creative choice that Jimin made against the advice and preferences of virtually everyone around him. It evolved through city after city of a world tour, changing and developing and taking on new forms with each stop: Las Vegas braids, Brussels accessories, Munich bandana, and the various permutations in between. It generated viral moments that reached demographics far outside the BTS fan community, was recognized and analyzed by professional stylists, was selected by GQ experts as a reference for the best male hair in 2026, and has now arrived in the Roblox marketplace as a purchasable avatar item available to 100 million monthly users. From the decision of one person to grow their hair out against institutional pressure, to a digital accessory available to 100 million people who can use it to express their own identity in virtual social spaces, that is an extraordinary journey for any aesthetic choice to take. And it happened entirely through the organic accumulation of cultural recognition, without any formal plan, without any strategic campaign, without any partnership or collaboration deal at any point along the way. The hair went where it went because each new audience it reached found something genuinely compelling in it, and passed it along to the next audience. This is the essential nature of the Jimin effect as a cultural phenomenon. It is not manufactured. It is not the product of a marketing strategy, however good that strategy might be. It is the result of someone making genuine creative choices from a genuine place, and those choices resonating with genuinely diverse audiences across genuinely different contexts: concertgoers in Las Vegas, television audiences in the United States and Latin America, GQ's expert sources, Roblox players around the world. Each of those audiences responded to something real in what they encountered. And the cumulative result of all those genuine responses is a cultural footprint that spans the physical and digital worlds simultaneously, that reaches people across age groups and cultural contexts and digital platforms, that has become one of the defining aesthetic stories of 2026. The Erarang World Tour is still ongoing. Paris was next on the European schedule after Munich, and then the FIFA World Cup final halftime show at MetLife Stadium in New Jersey on July 19th. Followed by the remaining dates through Latin America and other regions before the tour concludes in Manila in March 2027. There will be more cities, more hair moments, more fan reactions, more media coverage, and undoubtedly more digital extensions of Jimin's aesthetic into platforms and spaces that we have not yet anticipated. The Roblox item is a signal of the direction this is heading, not an endpoint. And somewhere out there, right now, there are 100 million Roblox users whose avatar could be wearing Jimin's braids. Some of them are doing exactly that. Some of them are ARMY who know exactly what the hairstyle references and feel a specific joy in being able to express that affiliation in the digital space where they spend their social time. Some of them are players who found the item in the marketplace, thought the hair looked cool, and bought it without knowing its cultural context, which is, in its own way, the highest possible form of aesthetic recognition. When something is so beautiful and so well designed that people want it simply because it looks good, without needing to understand where it came from, the aesthetic has achieved a kind of universality that is rare and genuinely significant. Jimin's braids, in 2026, have achieved exactly that. They are recognizable enough that millions of people understand the reference instantly. And beautiful enough that even people who do not understand the reference want to wear them anyway. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video meaningful, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel for more content following Jimin's cultural impact across every dimension of 2026. Drop a comment below and tell me, would you put Jimin's braids on your Roblox avatar? And how many other ways do you think his aesthetic influence is going to keep expanding before this era is done? I want to hear every thought. I will see you in the next video.